Since the last installment, I've done a couple of different things. One, I finished up with putting both plates on here. And then I had to determine where I'm going to locate it at. I also glued in my two side pieces so they're finished. We want this to fit in such a way that it's not going to hit the top when we rotate it, but yet we want it to lean far enough forward that these things are going to rest on front of the top piece of plywood, on what's called the top up. If they don't touch the top, well, then they're not going to vibrate every time you tap on it or hit it. So they have to be far enough forward. And then also, again, you need to be able to rotate them back without it being able to touch here, without it catching on this point when you rotate it. So I did my calculations the best I could, and I got a little hole here, drilled a little hole there, and I drilled a little hole on the side. Now the way I'm going to attach this, I was down at a Hobby Lobby a long time ago, and I picked up some dowel rod. This particular one is 5/16. 1/4 will work fine for what I have. I drilled holes in the end to match the dowel rod, and I wanted a way to turn it. So one of the favorite things around our house is Cholula, and they come with wooden caps. Now if you have a large bottle of it, they come with a bigger wooden cap, which looks like this. And what I did with this, I took my same drill, drilled a hole all the way through the center of the cap, and glued a little piece of dowel rod in it, and you can see where it matches up here on the end. Doesn't show up a whole lot, but it's actually like that. So I've got one for each side, and the dowel rods will actually go through the hole. I put a little washer on the end of them just in case, and it'll rotate, and it sticks in far enough that it'll actually catch and go in here. So what I want to do is I want to glue here and glue here so this will rotate. But I'm going to put a metal washer on the inside to keep it from being glued to the side of the cajon. Now the other thing that happens is when you turn this off, after you have it in here, you want to rotate this backwards if you don't want to have the snare sound. So we're going to rotate it back. Now if it just lays like that, it's still going to vibrate just from the air movement inside when you're playing your cajon. So what most people do is they fashion some type of wood dowel or a piece of wood, and they glue that in farther back. So when this piece rotates back, it'll just sit on here. It just rests on there. In order to keep it from vibrating, they cover it with some type of foam. Now what I had was I had some old piece of carpet for a car. It's real cheap stuff that I just glued on here. I just hot melt glued it onto a piece of wood. It's the same as what this is. It's just quarter round molding, what I had laying around the shop. Now it doesn't have to be pretty, because no one's going to see it except through the back hole. So if you're worried about somebody commenting on your woodworking talents, make sure when you put this in that all they see is just the back of it, the part that's 100% covered. I did the same thing here. I cut some little short dowels. They're going to go in through the sides, and they're going to get glued in here and also in the hole. We don't want anything to spin for this. It just has to sit stationary. So our first step would be to put a little bit of glue in here. Do this on both ends. This is for the dowel rods. You can put some here on the top if you want to. Depending on how accurate your measurements are, it may just squeeze in. I got a little bit of slop on mine so it'll fit. And if you're going to cut the dowel rods, make sure you mark which one is which so you get them in the right size. You don't want to end up putting it in and it doesn't fit the right place. It hangs out the sides. So we'll squeeze a little glue in there. We'll get this lined up where it should be. And we're going to put dowel number 1 through here. And try to get it lined up with the hole. And just tap it in. In a little bit, and I'll come over here on the other side. I'm going to put a little bit of glue in here too, not very much. Now this, it's not going to move around. It doesn't have any pressure on it. It's So you don't need to make sure it's going to have everlasting strength for hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that. Get a little extra glue there, that's not a problem. Line everything up. Just lightly start to tap it in and you got it lined up. And as always, things always go better when you're not on camera. Yeah, we'll lay this thing down. Okay, there we go. Finally fit in there. Any excess glue that you have should be wiped off at this time.